eventually having the capital in Chongqing. Now, the Japanese at first advance very, very slowly over the course of a couple months, and then they advance very quickly and capture a lot of territory, but they don't defeat the Chinese, and they can't go beyond their supply lines. The supply lines are so stretched. They don't have the industrial power to supply a bigger army than what they have, which is around 47 divisions, and it's about 500,000 men more or less in China at this time period, and they can't really supply a bigger army, so a stalemate is reached by 1938, 1939, and this stalemate remains up until the bombing of Pearl Harbor, which is why the Japanese changed their strategy. Instead of funding the Army's invasion of China, which is still going on and has stalemated, and they're not really advancing that far at this point, the Navy comes in and says, hey, let's go attack Southeast Asia, get its resources under our co-prosperity sphere, and use that in order to fund our war machine and our economy, and allow us to bypass China in a way. But to do that, the Navy has to take out the British, the Dutch, and the Americas kind of all at one time. And that's why they have Pearl Harbor. And Japan pretty much remains in China all the way through 1945. While we are taking their islands and bombing the mainland, they launch a last-minute all-out offensive called Ichigo in order to subdue China, connect all its railway networks, and get rid of bases. And they do most of this, but China doesn't surrender. And even though the army was incredibly successful in its engagements, they don't win anything strategically. And in fact, this is why, before the nuclear weapons get dropped on Japan, that the emperor plays such a big role in continuing the war with Japan, because they have so much territory in China. Even when the Soviets invade in August, there are so many troops there that if the government accepts a peace proposal, there is no guarantee that the army will just go back home. There's no guarantee they just won't keep on fighting, because we've seen that historically that the army would do that, and they most likely probably would have done that. That's why it's a very big deal up until the dropping of the atomic bomb that the Japanese wanted to keep the emperor, because the emperor could tell them the war is over, come home.